Hey there! Today I'm going to teach you past simple. It's one of the tenses in English that refer to the past. But what is special about this particular past tense? Past simple tense is the tense that refers to an action that started in the past and finished in the past. If it lasted for 1 second, if it lasted for 2 hours, if it lasted for 1,000,000 years, what's always true about this tense is that it ended in the past. The second thing that you need to remember about using this tense is that it is always used with a specific time phrase. Through my examples, I will teach you much more clearly what I mean by this. Let's start with the first section. The first thing we need to learn is how we make a past simple verb in English. And then I'm going to teach you how to use it in a sentence. Take a look here. English verbs are divided into two parts, regular verbs and irregular verbs. Regular verbs are verbs that are formed following a particular method. In this case, in the case of the past simple tense, it is adding ed to the verb that forms the past simple verb. And fortunately, most of the English verbs are regular verbs. So if you want to use them in this tense, past simple, you simply add ed to the end of those verbs. Take a look. Watch and play are two examples of regular verbs. Watch, in order to refer to the past, changes to watched, and play plus ed turns into played. On the other hand, we have irregular verbs, verbs that do not follow this, this method. What method do they follow? Nothing. That's why we call them irregular verbs. Although the number of irregular verbs is much smaller than that of regular verbs, they are very important in English. Most of them are verbs that we use on an everyday basis in English. Take a look. Go somewhere, changes to went. You see, it doesn't take ed. Go, went, not go, goed. We don't have that verb in English. Go changes to went. Do something with your hands. Do changes to did. Leave changes to left. You need to get the list of these irregular verbs. The list is not very long, maybe 1 or 2 pages, and memorize all these irregular verbs because they are really important. Now, let's see how we make our sentences if we want to use these verbs in a sentence. Let's start with the affirmative, positive sentences. The party ended a few minutes after midnight. You see, it's very simple. Like all the other sentence structures in English, you start with a subject, and then the verb, and then the rest of the sentence. Of course, there are some special cases where we do not start our sentences with a subject, but most of the time in English, you start your sentence with the subject and then the verb. However, you just need to remember that your verb must be the past tense, the past form of the verb you have in mind. Ended, not ends or end or ending. The party ended. This is the verb in past simple, and this is a specific time phrase, a few minutes after midnight. Or using an irregular verb. Fred left the place. Again, something that happened in the past. Fred left the place with no explanation. He didn't say why he left. How to make negative sentences in the past simple. Okay, if you have a to be verb, was and were. Was and were are the two verbs, members of the to be family that are used to refer to the past. If you have was and were, and of course in the present, in the case of the present simple, am, is, are. Whenever you have these 5 verbs in a sentence, am, is, are, and was and were, which are what we are dealing with today, you just add not after them. That's it. She was there when we arrived. she wasn't or was not there. Not follows was, it comes after was or were. But if your verb is not was or were, if it's not a to be verb, the story is different. First of all, you see we have the verb face here, come across, encounter, have a problem, you have to deal with a problem, face a problem. First of all, we remove D from the end of the verb. Faced, because it's about the past. Faced changes to face. And that D or ed reappears in the sentence as did. You remove D from the verb or ed from the verb and you add did before it. And after did you add not. So did not or didn't, did not or didn't is the sign of negative in the past simple. The ship faced some problems. The ship faced some problems. The ship didn't face. Didn't face, not faced, because we have didn't. The ship didn't face any problems. Very easy. Now, take a look at this. Fred left the place with no explanation. Fred didn't leave the place. The party ended a few minutes after midnight. The party didn't end. Didn't end after midnight. Now, questions. To make a question when we are dealing with the past simple, it's very similar to making negative statements. What we do is, again, change the verb to the present form, dropped out changes to drop out, and we use did at the beginning of the sentence before the subject. Did you drop out last year? We don't say did you drop out last year, because did is enough to refer to the past. Did you, did refers to the past. Did you drop out last year? Or where did the car turn left? We don't say turned, no, not turned, because we have did in the sentence. Where did the car turn left? Be careful. This did is different from this one. This did is different from this one. This did is the past tense of do, to do an action, to perform something. Use your hands, use your body, use your mind to do something, make something, create something. It's a main verb. It has a meaning. But this did, this did, this did. This did is not a main verb. It doesn't have any meaning. It is just used to show that we're talking about the past and that we're making a question or a negative statement. So they look like each other, but they don't mean the same. The meanings are different. Now, here we have a list of some of the phrases, some of the words that can help you make a specific time phrase in your sentence. Of course, they are not only used with the past simple. Many of them can be used with future forms, present forms, different types of tenses in English, but they can all be used with the past simple too. Last year, last Monday, last year, before now. Ago, 2 years ago, 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, again about the past. When we arrived, when I saw you, when we were children, after midnight, after we stopped talking to each other, before you could say where I was, before I graduated from university, you see? And any other words or phrases that are similar to these words in meaning. For example, as soon as I opened the door, I saw her. On Monday, a particular day, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, in September, in July, in 1992, in 2010, from 1992 to 1998, from Monday to Saturday. But again, this one can be used for future too. So all of them can be used with the past simple, and some of them can be used with different tenses as well. And you, please, think of your own examples. Make sure you write as many examples as possible and to use this tense in your conversation as much as possible. Please leave your comments in the comment section, and if you like the video, please like the video and make sure to subscribe to my channel and do not miss my next videos. Thank you very much, everybody, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.